Okay, we're good. We're live. Yeah, changing it up is always a good thing.
Okay, Holden's coming in.
Are we live on Patreon?
No, Facebook, YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Sweet.
Should we do it? Oh, I got to do my background.
Let's
Jesus.
do.
Dude.
Can you record as well, Patrick? Just
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I can edit this one too. I need
Oh,
to.
here we go.
awesome.
Second. Okay.
We are live.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. Oh, patrons. Okay. Let me start my recording.
We got a new one, right? So the one that we got yesterday wasn't new.
There were two. There was one
I'm
that
so
was and one
confused
that wasn't.
Oh yeah, I was confused too because I don't remember you reading that first name out. You said you read the name. I just don't. The name does not ring a bell to me for whatever reason.
When I read it tonight, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that is what that sounds like.
Oh.
I don't have the option to record, so let me
hang on.
request that.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Hope Vane and
Hoop
James
Vane, of course.
and three Jackies.
3 Jackies.
Do you guys want a review today?
Sure. Do you have one?
That one
That'd be
that
great.
Perry sent, remember?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I got Patreon already, and then we're locked in.
Locked and loaded.
We're good to go.
You ready?
Yeah, let's get going. I'll have this up in a second.
Okay. Welcome to Perfect Organism, the Alien Saga podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Prater, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Patrick Green.
Andy Geek Girl.
Holden Wilhoy.
Micah Green.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for doing this earlier than usual on a Tuesday.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah. We're still kind of figuring out our timing here, so we're kind of experimenting a little bit. As you all probably know, Jamie is overseas now, so we're figuring out the time zones, and this is one of the potential slots that we might be recording some stuff in going forward. So let us know what you think about that as an option. We want to make sure it's like it works for the most people. We'll probably end up rotating between a couple different time slots ultimately, but yeah, right now we're recording this at 5:30 Eastern. U.S. time, which is weird, but good. And welcome everybody.
Yeah. So, Patrick, do you want to take it away with?
Let's do our patrons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. Here we got. Let's go to Matt Thomas, Shura Multivac, Andrew Tracy, Zachary Eastrom, Larry Wood, Nick, Tom Goddard, and a brand new producer, Big Hippie, Mr. Nick. Welcome. We'll give all the producers shout outs at the end. If you want to join them, go to perfectorganism.com/support. I feel like we haven't recorded in a long time for PO.
It does feel that way.
Why do I feel so out of it?
Because it was
because we missed the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm like, I don't know. And that plus the time being different, I'm like, I don't know
This is weird.
what's going on. We're going to get it though. We're going to get it. We're going to lock in.
We are.
Lock in.
So Andy is going to read us a review.
Yeah,
five-star
this
review.
one came from Instagram, a listener, like a personal message. It says, "Hi, Perfect Organism. You asked for reviews via Apple to read aloud, but I don't have an Apple device, so I'm sending this one here instead. I've been listening to you guys since this year, and what a great podcast. Your enthusiasm for the franchise is contagious. Each of you is such a huge fan. I also love that you talk and discuss things in a nice, relaxed way. It's wonderful to listen to before bed. I'm currently listening to your audio drama. It has great suspense and a solid story. I'll definitely listen to it again. It's really beautifully produced. I hope you keep creating content for a long time to come because it's the best alien podcast out there. Best regards, Nick Kappen from the Netherlands."
Oh,
Thank you,
wow. Nick.
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Nick.
Thank you,
That's
Nick.
amazing.
Thank
Nick
you.
from the Netherlands.
That's awesome.
Great.
So I guess tonight we are here today, whatever time zone you're in, we are here.
We
to
don't even know
talk
what time
about-
zone this is
We
right
have
now.
no idea.
Yeah, to re-engage Alien Earth a little bit. We haven't really talked about that show since the show ended last year. So you're talking 6+ months. We have not talked about Alien Earth, and season 2 is in production right now. And I felt like, and I talked with Patrick, we felt like it was time to re-engage the material and essentially maybe talk about what it's going to be like for season 2, maybe what it should be like for season 2, our anticipation, fears, hopes, dreams, whatever. And then we'll talk about a little bit of Romulus news at the end because a lot's going on there.
Lots going on all over the place, and a lot's not going on, and that's part of what I think the frustration is. It's very unclear.
Yeah.
It's like stop charts. I was doing the Michael Scott snip snap
The best.
meme from The Office the other day. It's a lot of like it's happening, it's not happening. Oh, this guy, oh, it's not. Ooh, ooh. But Alien Earth seems like it's actually season 2 is actually happening, and that's like a real thing that we can definitely talk about, which is exciting. And I'm also excited to unpack some of the Romulus drama, which has become
Rom-drom.
it's the Rom Drom. That is sounds like it's a little bit of a mess over there, but
A little bit.
It really does.
Sometimes good things come from messes, though.
That's true. I mean,
100%.
look at Alien 3.
Yeah.
that's
Good
true. That's true.
things come from
Andy's
small
favorite.
beginnings.
Hey.
I was about to do the David quote too, and then I was like, it doesn't quite work. But you know what?
It
it
did
felt
when Holden
right
did
for some
it.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's because Holden did it. You know, with
Yeah.
the Southern
It would
charm.
have been weird if you did.
Yeah, it would have been weird, yeah.
Southern. He's from Indiana.
Southern charm.
He lives in Tennessee.
lives
You know,
in-
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking Hoosier.
Don't you know?
He's the voice of the South.
Oh, yeah.
So my name's Holden Wheelhoy. Anyway, this was also just a quick shout out. We had a lot of fun this weekend. Perry came to stay with us for like 4 days, and we just had a great time, hung out with a bunch of our friends in New York, including Andy, who was there, which was awesome, and Mario, and of course Kyle, who was like our event planner for the day.
He was.
And,
Romulus.
we just had
Romulus.
just had such a great time.
Sorry.
And that was really wonderful. And I know that, a lot of you also just got together in Pennsylvania to go see the Aliens anniversary screening. And I feel like we're seeing more of each other lately. And that's a really great thing. And it's a good reminder, I think, that this community is really strong, regardless of whether or not there's something new coming out to talk about. Another great thing that just happened was Perry and I spent the day with Mash, who many of you know from his time on this podcast. He was here for quite a few years, and is still a really good friend of ours and of the show. And it was really great catching up with him and talking about some of the projects that he's been up to. And, the community is really alive and vibrant, and I'm definitely feeling it. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And I'm FOMOing again. I told
Yeah,
you.
sorry, I know.
Oh, sorry.
I don't FOMO. I don't. I'm not a FOMO person. I don't care. I'm too old to care. But I saw those photos. I was like, I wish I was there.
Oh, we
I hope
missed
you guys had a
you.
wonderful time.
Yeah, we did. You're obviously very missed. You both were very missed. And many of our
Yeah.
patrons were very missed too. So I think the next
Mhm.
time we do that, we're going to do more of a heads up and invite more, our
You have to
friends
fly
from
to
the chat.
England.
Yeah, we're all
I
going to go to
would.
England and stay
I
in
literally
Jamie's
would do
kitchen.
it. Yes.
Jamie's silent kitchen. All right, so let's talk Alien Earth. What do we got? Jamie, you've been champing at the bit to talk about this.
Well, I think we should open it up. Like, how's everybody feeling about it? Except for Holden. I'm kidding. How's everybody?
Everyone, but not Holden.
How's everybody feeling about the show 6 months plus out? More than 6 months out, right? When did it end? When did was that in October? I think the last show was.
yeah.
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 And honestly, as people know, it was a divisive time for us, for the show. We were going through it from comments from people. We were all over the place. Also, but at the same time, it's our biggest thing we've ever done in terms of like listens, views. Like, I mean, the show was huge for us. It was a learning curve, nonetheless. And I'm excited about doing a version of that again that's less stressful, because Patrick and I have been talking. It was a stressful time, and we don't want it to be stressful. We want it to be fun. So hopefully, as we go into season 2, if the gods at FX still love us and they still give us early shit so that we can watch, we'll go into season 2 a little bit more prepped.
100%.
I'm laughing because I feel like when we all figured out that it was October, nobody wanted to do the math in their head. We were all like, what was it, 6 months? We're all like, it was more than
Yes,
that.
that's good.
Yeah,
Sure.
We'll say it was more than 6 months.
6 is a number, so
Yeah, Alien Earth is such an interesting topic because it's something that so many of us really love, and so many of us have really conflicted feelings on, and so many of us really want to not continue. And it's and we're caught in this position where when Covenant came out, for example, there wasn't like a clear, oh, it's continuing moment. So although it was a very divisive film and there was a lot of fighting about it, it felt more like, okay, we can kind of move past it. But whereas Alien Earth, it's almost like, and again, I love Alien Earth, but it's almost like threatening. It's like, oh, this is going to keep going as long as you can take it. So like, buckle up. So we all kind of know that it's like coming up again. It's like we're cresting the roller coaster and we're ready for the next ride. for whatever it's worth, from my perspective as somebody who's posting on our social media a lot, the negative voices are really loud, like really, really loud. And as somebody who is frequently looking to engage on the show in like an intellectual way or a philosophical way or a filmmaking way or a music way or a character way, I get kind of frustrated because I just feel like I can't, like, there's just the bitching and moaning is so loud that it's really hard to have cohesive conversations about it. So I guess I'm hoping that with a little more time we get some more space to like just to be able to actually like talk about it publicly without people yelling about how much they hate, everybody.
Retro replay hates it.
Hates it.
But
That's
hey,
okay.
everyone, there's people all over the board. I mean, I think there are people who hate it, there are people who love it, there are people who are mixed, there are people like me who love certain things, who hate other that I don't
Yeah.
like that word hate. It's a little strong. It's not a word that I like. But I vehemently do not like things in that show. And it's this
Mm.
weird kind of mixed bag. I mean, there are things I enjoy in Alien Resurrection, but I can't stand that movie. But I'll rewatch it. So I get it.
Yeah, I think I'm finding that my opinions have actually remained the same since we've had this big break from it and haven't talked about it. The things that I really, really like, I still really, really, really like. I like the characters. I loved the acting from most of them. I'm interested to see where a lot of these characters are going. T.S. Ellis is the coolest thing freaking ever in that whole entire thing. And my big problems, like the way that the Xeno looks, stuff like that, still remain. I still really have issues with episode 5. I like have a hard time rewatching that one. But I think it's interesting that I had all these opinions right after the bat when we first saw everything and it was all fresh. And now with all the separation from it, I still have those feelings about it. But I feel really open to where it's gonna go. Like I feel like I don't know. I trust Noah Hawley as a television creator because I've seen so many good things come from him. So I'm really excited to see where he goes, and I'm happy that he has such a strong sense of direction with it, and he's just gonna go that way, whether people like it or not. So I guess at the end of the day, my feelings remain the same, but I'm open to seeing the next season, and I'm actually excited to see where it goes. I want to be pleasantly surprised, you know?
So I guess I'll go next. All of y'all know I really love Alien Earth. Um, I think it's been wonderful so far. I've had a great time on the ride. I know it's been iffy for a lot of people, and there have been some things that I haven't been crazy about, like the creature suit. The main XX121 suit has just, it looks like a guy in a suit, which can be a good thing in some ways, but I don't think the ways that this has looked like a guy in a suit have been great, if that makes sense. Like, Balaji Badejo. Um, that looked like a guy in a suit, but it, in the way that it looked like something that was man-made, and it it fit with the sort of biomechanical sort of way that HR Giger, apologies, wanted it to look. And the way that the creature in Alien Earth has looked is just, it's not, it looks so manufactured. And that's been my
There's
major
like
issue
there's
with
a
it.
there's a dumpiness to it.
However, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like the suit looks loose in certain places. You can
Yeah.
see it like kind of crumpling up
Hashtag
whenever he
dumpy.
bends his appendages. Yeah. But but other than that, I've quite thoroughly enjoyed the show. I've watched it a good 10 or 12 times through at this point. And I have a lot of faith in the direction that Noah Hawley is going with this. I was a Noah Hawley fan for quite a long time. I've been following him since Fargo season 2, I think. And one of my favorite things about the way that Hawley writes, and one of the things that I'm most excited about moving forward, is the way that he blends seasons into each other. Like Fargo especially, not so much Legion, but Fargo especially, that's an anthology show, and I was really hoping Alien Earth would be an anthology. But Fargo is an anthology, and it did a really good job of showing ripple effects from previous seasons without connecting them directly. Like you'd see one character from season 2 who was grandfathered by a character in season 1, or who had run into a character at a diner in season 1 who knew this other character. And there were a lot of really cool like side ties moving throughout the way he blended those seasons together. So I'm hoping for a bit of that. I know we're not going into Alien Earth with an anthology approach, at least from the way it looks as far as casting goes. But I'm hoping that he finds a way to not, start season 2 starting right off where season 1 ended. Like I don't want to see Wendy and the Lost Boys and Boy Cavalier like in the cage together. I want to see like something maybe a year after or 6 months after. Like I want to see some time in between them and see some threads connected in a way that gives you context without exposition. And I think Holly's really good at that, and I'm looking forward to that. That's something that I have a great deal of faith in him as far as like moving forward.
Well, I think Holden, the fact that it's going to be filmed in Pinewood and not Thailand, probably it lends itself to that. Like they're probably not going to have that same jumping off point, which is interesting to me. I'm looking forward to a different location or locations, settings. Um, I think we were in certain areas a little too, like we lingered too long in, and I love the natural setting, but I think we were outside too often, and that's when the Xeno really looked its worst, I think. Um, so, and I usually love on-set filming, but I think for this particular IP and this story, I think it almost hindered it in a way. I like the more claustrophobic feel, but I do like that he tried, like that he opened it up. I'm really looking forward to the interesting casting and to see what those characters are doing. Particularly Tracy Ullman, I think is such an unusual choice for this story, and I love her. So I'm curious as to what she's going to bring. Of course, Peter Dinklage. Um, and then Jerome Flynn, is it from like Game of Thrones? I think it's an interesting mix of new characters. Um,
He plays my favorite character in Game of Thrones. He's a
yeah,
wonderful actor.
yeah, I think all three of them are amazing actors. And I think that's what the first season was, aside from a few exceptions. I think one of my favorite things about Alien Earth was the acting and uh, the immersion of the characters in that story and how I believed I was there with them because they sold it for the most part. Um, but that I want to continue. And I think with these three, that's definitely a plus. So, story wise or character wise, acting wise, I have full faith. It's just, I'm going to be interested in seeing how not only the Xeno, but the other creatures are going to be incorporated. If they will be, will they introduce more? Will we know more about the biology? That's kind of what I want to see.
Just on that note from the chat, our buddy 50 States of Matt is saying that he's excited to see Jerome Flynn paired with Peter Dinklage because their chemistry in Game of Thrones was so good. And on the other side of the spectrum, we have Mitchell Roberts, DK2MB, saying that personally I was disappointed. It really didn't work for me. They should have stayed with a more mature storyline. So, again, opinions are all over the place. In terms of casting, just quickly, I want to say the one that I'm far and away most excited about is Sam Spruell, who was just unbelievably good in season 5 of Fargo. I thought he was like so truly menacing and interesting and mercurial. It was very hard to know what was going on with that character like the whole season, but I was so engrossed in what he was doing.
That's the guy who plays Old Monk, right?
Yeah, yeah, with the bowl cut
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, right. Incredible actor, and somebody I don't think I'd ever seen before, or if I had, I hadn't noticed him. But one of these guys that like Noah Hawley just really dragged an amazing performance out of. And you look at the caliber of new hires on this, and I mean these are like marquee level people, So like say what you will about the quality of the show, if you liked it or didn't like it, or if the viewership went down towards the end of the season, it's still successful enough that huge names are signing up to. And Peter Dinklage is one of the most bankable people in Hollywood. That's a very very big deal. And I'm really excited to see their chemistry. Like I think that I mean, can you imagine scenes with Sam Spruell versus like Babu, like Babu Cisse and Sam Spruell on screen together, and Timothy Oliphant. Like how amazing is that going to be?
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
So that like the gravity of that, or like Peter Dinklage in there too. Like these are like amazing actors. Tracy Ullman. I think if nothing else, I'm really excited to see how that all fits together and like what Noah's plan for that is. And to Mitchell Roberts' point about the storyline, yeah, it is not a very typical kind of realistic alien story. It's not like in the cast of the original trilogy, and I think that is a major sticking point for people. As it's very valid if that's something that's not working for you. It's something that worked mostly for me, and sometimes it didn't. I think that the things that didn't work for me as much are things that could be corrected in the second season, depending on how the story unfolds, which is kind of exciting to think about. Last thing I want to say quick is in our producer chat, which you can join if you join as a producer. There's been a lot of talk about kind of nostalgia for the Dark Horse comics era lately. And, I say this as somebody who has kept reading the Marvel comics and things, even though by and large I'm not a huge fan of them anymore, but somebody who grew up just obsessed with the Dark Horse comics and loving just how bizarre and weird and fantastical and genuinely scary so many of them were. And I've been thinking more, like I know Jamie compares Earth to Resurrection in a lot of ways. I compare Earth to Dark Horse comics. Like to me, it feels more akin to that, of just like a strange parallel universe tale where some of the ideas that are latent in Alien are made kind of more explicit with this whole transhumanist or displacement of the body kind of an idea, and the Peter Pan shit, which is just very very weird. But again, like to me, it's weird in an intentional way that sets a tone that feels like the Dark Horse comics to me.
Yeah, to echo a lot of what you guys have said, in terms of the things that I love, because they continue to be the things that I love, like Morrow, performed by Babu Cisse. Wendy, I think, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name.
Sydney Chandler.
Cindy Chandler, she does a fantastic job. Really, really great acting, some great characters. Timothy Oliphant as Kirsch, amazing. I think most of the acting is great. It really, really is. And I think my issues have been tonal issues where when we're with Morrow, it's gripping and I mean, that scene where he's plugged in and he's talking to him, I mean, like that is like as alien as you can get. And it's urgent and it's like, it's lit so well. And then it goes to Boy Cavalier and it feels stupid and it feels jokey and it feels ridiculous. And then it'll go to Kirst and it'll be gripping and amazing again. And that kind of seesaw is a little bit tough for me, because it almost feels like slapstick sometimes. Not that it's comedic, but it feels comedic. And I think I want more of an urgent tone to Alien. But I also, yeah, it's this thing where I'm kind of all over the place on this. Generally, I think what killed it for me, and I think you guys know this, was the alien. By the end of it, it was just so bad. And our friend Adam Zeller Ridgetop in the chat, he said he'd liked the Xeno design, but he didn't think the suit was shot well in episode 5. It's not so. I think the problem with the design wasn't the design; it was how they built it with the head that looked like it was this almost this large as the rest of the body. It's just the proportions were all whacked
Also, like
and
the
crazy.
neck being so wide to
Yes.
accommodate his head was real.
Yeah.
I think with Balaji, it works because he's like was like 7 feet tall, but with the wonderful actor that they got for it, who came on the show and was a delight, he's like not that tall.
He's like 6'4", I think.
No, I think sure he's like 6'2", I
Is he
think,
short?
or
Is he,
six
oh,
one.
really? Okay.
Yeah, which it's not like short, but in the context of Alien, like you want the
Yeah.
proportions to be very long, and I think you
Yeah.
don't really notice the blockiness of having the head there when it's on somebody who's really elongated, but when they're shorter, yeah, that was it was distracting. And then to Andy's point, it was shot so bright so much at the time. And
Yeah.
when it was in the shadows, like that design, I actually loved it. Like in the early episodes, I was really captivated by the way it looked. And I wish they had not like been like, okay, now we're going to show you the suit outside, and you can see like the zippers and
In the
stuff.
sun.
You know,
Yeah.
sorry, but Jamie, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, no, that's fine. I think it's interesting because Rich Top Adams says he didn't think it was shot well in episode 5. I actually think episode 5 it was shot pretty good. Honestly, I think it looked some of its best. There's a couple of moments where it's got that corridor dance sequence was just like, what is going on here? I don't understand this. But the Xeno isn't what brings me to Alien. The story is what brings me to Alien, but the Xeno just killed it because I wasn't sure what the story was. But to everyone's point, to Micah, to your point, like for season 2, I'm ready. I'm locked in. I'm ready for it to even out a little bit. Although the reality is 20th Century / Disney looks at Alien Earth as a success. It had bonkers numbers for the first few weeks, and oftentimes that's the only thing they're going to see. So they think, well, let's just do more of the same. And I hope they don't. I hope, in terms of the story, I just want the story to be more focused. And I'm not looking to like do Alien again or do Aliens again. I just want a more focused story. And I want less Alien Resurrection and more Alien and more Aliens and more Alien 3. And I know that Holly's a big fan of those. And I think, I think even though it was a bit meta in the show, like the whole Peter Pan thing, and they discussed that in the show, like towards the end, one of the kids was like, "What's up with this Peter Pan thing?" They were kind of talking about it in a meta way, and I like that actually because for all of us, it was like this is kind of ridiculous, and they thought so too. By the end of the show, like, why are we fitting into this mold? This thing that Boy Cavalier had kind of crafted wasn't really working by the end. It wasn't really fitting his narrative, and I like that they kind of indicted it a little bit, and they what's the other term when you look at something and
They
you're
examined it.
critical of it. Yeah, they examined it. I like that, but I really want the
Deconstructed.
characters. Yeah, deconstructed. There
Yeah.
was interrogated it. That's the word I was looking for. And I like that they interrogated it. I think that it was really smart, and it was something that I wanted them to do because he was making them into these children, but honestly, they weren't children.
Not
They weren't
anymore.
even human. They were information downloaded into bodies. That's what they were. They weren't. There was no human soul, at least unless they have technology that we don't know about. There was no human soul in those bodies. Those were just droids who were told you were human and here you are, and here you are now in this body, when in fact they were just information. That is fairly interesting to me. I don't know where that's going to go, but again, I feel like the story was off in all of these different directions, and there's nothing that I felt like, well, what is the story? I still can't tell you what the story is. And someone was talking about the image, and I'll let it go for now. I think the image is amazing. I think it's terrifying, but someone had mentioned, well, where does it go after this? What does it do? Is it just going to do the same things again in season 2, where it jumps into someone, it looks at you, it stares, it runs off? What is its life cycle? How does it breed? That's going to be interesting if they do that, and I would be interested in that. But I also, there's the balance of not upstaging the xenomorph. But if the xenomorph is going to be presented in the way it was presented in season 1, upstage the fuck out of it because I've no interest in it.
What if it invades a xenomorph?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Interesting. I would like
Yeah.
to
But it's
see how they
acid
pull
for
that out.
blood. I don't know
I
unless
mean,
the midge is impervious to it.
but then like they would have to, that would be I think that would be a very precarious undertaking because of how the Xeno, I mean, we obviously know their Xeno has vision somehow. It looks and it finds you, it can see. But I just worry that if they do that, it could come across as like silly, muppety, like, I don't know, derpy. Um, But going back to more of the design, I was wondering, what did you guys think of the xenomorph that in the beginning of the series was like, yes, there was that whole thing on the ship, but then when oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Wendy's brother's name is Hermit.
Hermit.
When
Hermit.
Hermit.
when Hermit is running from the Xeno, I thought that was excellent. The way that they made that one move, that one felt scary. That whole sequence where he is kind of doesn't know where it is, and then it immediately, I mean, a little bit silly that it kills an entire party room in like zero point 0.3 seconds, but still the scare factor was there. The mystery was there. You didn't know where it was. You didn't know what it wanted. And then, like you said, Andy, we see this thing in the light and I can see the plastic and all that stuff. I want them to find their way back to the moments that were scary, where we don't know where it is or what it wants. And the whole thing about it being kind of in this weird relationship with Wendy, I would like to see that disintegrate and the power come back to the xenomorph. You know what I mean? Like it would be cool to see a standoff between the image, whatever, however she evolves, and the xeno. These two creatures are like obviously my favorite things. I want to see where they go. I don't want to see more of the same. So I do hope that we get to see the TSLS changing and adapting more. But I'd be curious for them. I hope they learn from the feedback that has been seemingly pretty public about people not really liking the pneumomorph, as you coined it, Patrick. So yeah, I'm curious about that. And then the other thing is something I forgot to mention. I really, really can't wait to see Boy Cavalier, get his. I'm sure it's gonna happen at some point, who knows when, but like he's just so comically, annoyingly evil and persistently self-centered, and I can't wait to see like what happens to him. I feel like it's kind of leaning on the image taking over him, the way that they were looking at each other and all that, but I'm just excited to see where the characters go. Someone said more of Moro, and I agree with that. Like lots more Moro, please. More Babu Sise. He's freaking incredible. And you're right, Jamie. Every single time he was saying anything, I was like leaning forward. I can't wait to hear where he's going with this. I just want to watch him forever. He gives me so many chills and multiple scenes throughout the whole show. So I want more of him and just more building on these characters. Like let's see where they go. Going back to like the mature storyline, maybe we'll get that. Maybe it will grow up, so to speak, with the Peter Pan stuff. Maybe it will grow up a little bit this second season, and we'll get to see more of a mature storyline where, you know, they aren't as in control of everything as they think that they are.
It's a really good point because at the end of the season, like to Jamie's earlier point, like they really have deconstructed all of that stuff. Like they've reclaimed their identities as non-identities. They've taken the whole Peter Pan mythology down. Boy Cavalier's like bonkers stuff has all been stripped away from him. He's just in a cell. So that does set up that, coupled with the fact that they have been at Pinewood, that they have all of these like pretty serious, dramatic actors on the cast, makes me feel like this season is not going to have that tone and is going to lean into more kind of serious, darker, kind of grown up. It's almost like the first season was kind of growing up, and now this season is finding out what adulthood really has in store.
I'm curious. It's going to be interesting to see if, let's just say, they introduce a queen. I do know from what's been reported that season two has a smaller budget than season one. Um, I think that happens anyways. I think a lot of times what we see with these streamers is when these shows go into season two, they become more expensive. Um, Talent becomes more expensive, and it's interesting because they brought aboard these big names. These aren't, Tracy Ullman, Peter Dinklage, the others. These aren't like these small bit players who just play small roles in other Noah Hawley things. These are big stars. These are A-listers, even in maybe not so much in the film world, but certainly in the television world. These are A-listers. So that's more money that they're paying right there. And it's interesting. I think that the cast that they announced is great. It's fine. I don't really care. I'm not going to care until I know like what's the story. What story are you telling? How are you utilizing these people? I do feel like my gut tells me that they went for Tracy Ullman the same way that James Cameron went for Paul Reiser. Like, we're going to take her and we're going to do something very unexpected with her. And I'm excited to see what they do. And I really hope that this season is dark, 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 and urgent and scary. And it kind of pulls away from a little bit of the chaos of season one. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, just to build off of what you were saying, Jamie, there are a few characters from the last season and from the upcoming season from people we know have been casted that I hope there's an intentional direction that Holly's wanting to move towards. Like, I think it was Isaac. I can't remember what his original name was. Was it Toodles?
Yep.
But yeah, Isaac, his character, I felt like kind of didn't have a direction he was moving toward. Like, obviously, he was moving towards that like sort of sacrificial role in the in the containment area, but I feel like Isaac and Zaviri from episode 5, and then Hermit as well. I feel like those characters didn't really have at least in season 1, they didn't have a direction that they felt like they were consistently moving towards. But I hope that these new characters, like from Peter Dinklage and others, are that they have some sort of direction that their characters are supposed to be like navigating towards from the first episode of season 2. Like I don't know. To me, it just felt like a few of these characters just sort of lost their way as long as the season moved on, and that was just something that felt a little lackluster to me, especially in the context of how much I love so many of the other characters from the show and so many of Noah Hawley's other characters from other shows. It was something that felt a little off to me that I'm really hoping that he tightens up in the upcoming season.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe the casting of certain Game of Thrones actors, maybe that's pointing in that direction in terms of losing characters and having the stakes be greater for an like having us invest in characters a little bit more and lose some of them or something happen to them. I want to have that feeling of utter either betrayal or just devastation if we do lose them. I want to have that feeling like when Burke meets his, right? Maybe with Boy Cavalier. I want to have that. And I don't feel like we did in season 1 enough. Maybe a little bit, like with Arthur, it kind of felt bad, but I wasn't like emotionally devastated. So I'm looking to, as Jamie said, kind of like pare down the chaos of the storyline and really like focus in on the characters so that when we do have something happen to them, whether it's death or something, that we feel it a little bit more. That's really my ultimate sort of goal with any alien movie or film is I want to walk away like maintaining that feeling for a long time of either being devastated or hopeful or both.
I also want them to actually kill people. This is something that Micah knows is a big pet peeve of mine. When we watch something and I'm like, they better fucking kill somebody. Like, and they did in season 1. They did,
It's
a
really
little bit of
creepy
that.
when you say it like that, though.
Yeah, it is. And then I lick my lips. No, I feel like
people to die.
kill somebody. I just feel like we're in a cultural moment where it's nobody gets killed off in anything because people are too attached to characters and
Yeah.
creatives are concerned that audiences won't be able to take it, or streaming platforms will lose subscribers if characters die off. And like the best example of this is Stranger Things, season 5. which really the more time goes on and the more I think about it, the less I like it, which is saying something because I really did not like the final season of it when it came out. But a big reason for that is just nobody dies the whole freaking thing, you know? And it's like they build it up like, oh, this is going to be so scary. And then they fake you out with a character's death at the end, and which is, in a way, extra insulting, you know? I think at this point, especially now that the cast is getting bigger, there's a lot of people. We've had extra time with a lot of the Lost Boys and things like that. Characters' deaths will really, they should really resonate with people. It should be hard to, you should have, honestly, early Walking Dead moments where you get to the end of an episode and a character's died and you kind of don't want to keep going because you kind of feel like shit, like I lost somebody I really cared about, The Walking Dead obviously squandered all of that as it went on.
Yeah.
But I think that'd be great. I think they need to have like meaningful deaths and keep this cast from just continually ballooning out and out. And I hope that they do, I hope some of my favorites don't die, but the fact that I hope that they don't die is actually the best indication possible that they should. Like, that's the point, right? Like, think about how upset you would be if Babu Sise as Morrow was not in the show anymore, right?
I will riot, actually.
Right? Think about how upset you'd be if
He's the heart of
Cindy
the
wasn't
show.
there. Yeah, and losing him would be a horrendous thing. That's a sign that he's doing a good job, right?
A little pushback in the chat. Amoeba Jelly says Siberian dies, Toodles dies, Arthur dies, and that's true. And Arthur was a very human character, and I think, and he said a bunch of other people were killed as well, but none of those people mattered to us. All the people that
I think, and again,
and
I admitted that. I said people did die. Like, obviously Isaac
Yeah.
died and things like that too. And I mean, Arthur did, but is not gone from the show, right? And Siberian did, but I don't think anybody is particularly
Okay.
upset about Siberian dying.
who was Siberian?
One of the operatives, one of the
The
security
chick with
officers.
the red braids.
She had,
Yeah,
the
she
Oh,
got-
yeah, no,
she
I
got-
mean,
yeah.
She got
Yeah.
gorked by the orchid. No, like Arthur is the only one that kind of touched a nerve with me. Everybody else is kind of like, oh, okay. Like with Toodles, I was like, eh.
Arthur broke my heart.
Yeah.
I love that character.
Yeah, me
and
too.
that actor, he did such an incredible job with that character. But
Yeah. And the
that
betrayal
broke
right
my
before
heart. Oh my God.
with the Lost Boys, because the whole time he wants to be a father, and then when he gets that moment to be a father, he is completely betrayed. Even though the Lost Boys didn't really know 100% what was going on. Yeah, that was really the one death that they gave us for you, Patrick, that was actually painful. I feel like everyone else, like I literally forgot that Siberian died, which is bad. I mean, her character's really cool, but I totally, like, I wasn't upset by it, and it happened so fast. And yeah, like a lot of the other deaths were just, I want them to be more earned, like you're saying, Patrick, like earn the deaths and then be brave enough to give us those deaths.
The problem with Siberian is that her death was cooler than her character actually was. And I thought her character was like marginally cool. Like she seemed like, cool-headed military type, But we've seen that before in Vasquez and even Ripley to a degree. Like we've seen that before, and with the way that her character was played out, you got kind of annoyed with her after a certain point, and her death outweighed how attached to her character you were, which is something that makes the death of the Marines and aliens hit so hard, is because you're more attached to their characters than you are attached to the way they die. Like, you remember Hudson's quotes way more than you remember the exact scene where Hudson died, if that makes sense. So that's something that I've noticed about Siberian in particular, is like, she's cool, but she doesn't quite measure up to that like cool death factor, if that makes sense.
I think that's
the
a
Marines.
good point.
I was just gonna say the Marines or whatever they were in Alien Earth felt a little bit more like caricatures to me than characters. Like, I could tell, like, oh, let's give her braids and some purple in the braids. This is character. And it just felt a little forced to me, honestly. I know that they were going for that, like, hey, we could get in the aliens crowd with these Marines and make them a little bit, and it just didn't work for me. Like, I just felt like they were trying a little bit hard. And when she died, for me, I don't know enough about her to care about her death. If anything, I think the orchid was more interesting than she was as a character. But I think that
Exactly.
we should earn these deaths. If the deaths are going to hit, it's because they are earned for us, or our heart earns them. That's why we can watch Aliens over and over, and you know cry, or I don't know, cry, but wince or feel bad when Hudson takes it, or when Vasquez and Gorman are in the events and they get it. Like that hurts every time. But
That makes me
for
cry
Alien
every
Earth,
time.
yeah, like for Alien Earth, I
You
just like,
always wear a
I
butthole
don't.
garment.
I think part of too when a death is effective is when they're not just isolated and they die alone and like no one really knows about it and then like they're forgotten. There's got to be either they're with somebody and that person reacts to them, or like they're witnessing it. Like the one that actually impacted me the most in Alien Earth, not so much from an emotional level, but just viscerally, like I was like really upset by it, was when the tick got those two guys because they were like one was not able to see what was happening, could just hear his partner freaking out. And that, like, he was reacting to it and we could see it. Like, something like that, I think, is more effective where maybe we didn't really know them, like I wasn't attached to them emotionally, but seeing him not only freak out for his partner, but then freak out, like, what is this thing going to do to me? I think we need more of that kind of death where, same kind of thing with like, uh, maybe an alien when like Dallas dies alone, but they're all like freaking out about this thing about to get him. Like we need more of that, I think, than just me walking into a room alone and I'm gonna get eaten and there's no reaction, no one sees it. We do, but it doesn't hit as hard.
The more we talk about this, the more I'm realizing I really think a barometer of if a character is working is if their death would affect you. Like I think that's actually a really clear cut way to look at it, right? In Aliens, like all of their deaths affect us, like every single one of them. And that is such a testament to the characters and the portrayals and the ways that those characters kind of live in our hearts. And it's worth noting for studio execs who may be listening to this that like Aliens is the most rewatched movie in my lifetime for me, and I think probably for all of it. I mean, I watch Aliens all the time still, and I probably have seen it 300 times at least minimum in my life. And so I clearly can handle watching characters I love die. Like I actually love that I get to see that. Like I love that I get to go on this journey and to know that just like life in real life, things end and there's death and that's powerful and that's part of the narrative. And in this culture we live in now, it's like we pretend death isn't real or we pretend like it's not going to happen or we pretend that it's fake or we pretend that it's a story when like we do need to confront these things. And I think in previous generations of filmmaking, like I think there's a better understanding of that. But looking at Alien Earth in particular, like there's a lot of characters that I would be devastated to lose. Like Smee, Jonathan Jai's character, I would be heartbroken as fuck if we lost that guy. Like that, I think as an actor, I think he's just marvelous. But also, I just think that character's journey has been so heartrending, and his portrayal as this kind of innocent voice of innocence is really powerful. And
Smee
losing
is
him,
like my child. Like
yeah,
I
right.
love him.
I
He's so
love
good.
Smee, yeah, and
He's
his
so
relationship
pure.
with
I love him.
Slightly, and the way that I just would be heartbroken, and obviously Morrow and Kirsch and Sydney too as Wendy. I got to say, like I think that her performance has held up miraculously. I think she's such a great actress, and I think she doesn't get enough
Agreed.
credit. I think
Agreed.
she gets dogpiled on in a lot of
Yeah.
chats, and I'm not going to put it all down to social things, but I think a lot of it has to do with that. I think people pile on her a lot of their negativity about the show. I think in part because she's a woman, and I think that really fucking
Absolutely.
sucks. And
And the
and
irony.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
I feel this weird sense of like protectiveness over her because we've spent time with her. She's been so lovely to us on the show. We've gotten to kind of know her before her career really took off. And we know from firsthand experience what like a kind and thoughtful person she is and how much like work she put into this. And then to see people online just like say the meanest shit, really like it got to me a lot during while the show was running. It still does now. Like I get pretty upset about it because I think part of what happened with the last season, why I was so upset so much of the time, was because like when you get to know these people, you really do understand that they truly are just people that are like doing a job and that they are trying to do the best they can and to make art, and like they got this opportunity that's amazing, but like they're still stressed and they're still trying hard and they're still trying things that might not work. And in this the way the internet works now is it's like everybody just has to just flame everything out like instantly. Everybody just has to shit on people. And it's weird being in a very micro way visible myself, at least within this fandom, because people say shit about me all the time, where I'm like, what? Like if they said that to me in person, like they would never say that to me we don't talk about people like that, We're not like, oh, I hope you fucking die, to like an actual human being, you know what I mean? For having an opinion about something, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that really kind of got to me in the last season. And part of my like, foot dragging a little bit with season 2 has been like, I don't really want to go through that again. That being said, I think we've learned a lot and our skin is a lot tougher. At least mine is, I'm sure, everybody else's was already tough. But I think it's tough because when you talk to these people and you get to know them, you realize how much work they're really putting in, and whether or not it works for you is totally fine. It's totally fine to have differences of opinions and to not like things, but it's like the personal just meanness
Yeah.
really gets to me a lot. And I hope season 2 doesn't have as much of that. And you know what? In a stupid idealistic way, I would hope that it wouldn't have as much of that because people would have moved on. Like maybe the show is the same quality, but maybe people are like, okay, we kind of got all of our agita out the first time, and now we're going to be like nice and patient about it. But in reality, like, yeah, but that's not going to happen. It's going to, if people are nicer in season 2, it's going to be because it, hews more closely to what they're personally looking for. So, we'll see. But I got to say, like, in my kind of closing thought, like, I'm really excited. I think that I think season 1, it's funny, like I can feel it happening as we're sitting here talking about it. Like, it really is fun to talk about. It's a fun show to unpack.
Go watch it again. Do it.
And even when it's not working, and even when the alien stuff is pissing me off so much, and even when I'm like episode 5 happens and I just can't believe it's like a real thing. Even at its worst moments, like I'm still so engrossed by this. Like I still feel like it's so fun to talk about. And I think my least favorite thing about the discourse of season 1 was and continues to be that it's hard to have those conversations because they just get so shit on by negativity so quickly that it's hard to be like, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to start a thread about Alien Earth to be like, hey, did you notice in this episode this is happening, without the first 40 comments being like, city child can't have my child, like this like crazy shit. And I really hope that with season 2, we can take time and actually talk about ideas again. And, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But maybe those people will have learned that they won't like it and they won't watch season 2. And the rest of us who are more curious about where it could go, maybe we can kind of, have a little more fun this time.
Yeah. And don't be mean to an actress just because she is a human being with feelings and gets overwhelmed. How about that?
Yeah.
How about like be respectful of someone who is all of a sudden shoved into the spotlight out of the blue,
Right. Maybe shitting on her is contributing to that overwhelm. Maybe they
Who
can
knows?
think about
Who knows,
that.
right? Yeah, I thought she was great.
Perhaps.
She was so respectful of the material, and I know this because you guys told me after meeting her personally how like sweet and genuine she was and how dedicated she was to her character. And for someone or people out in the public just to go off about something that they don't even understand is just such a prime example about the worst parts that can then come out of fandom, like, and it sucks because we had that, well, we were fortunate to have that backstage look, but it was all the more hurtful to see that happen to her when she did such a great job.
I mean, look at the discourse around her appearance, like with her haircut. Like that is something that always comes up. People pick Nibs apart for her appearance all the time
Oh
too.
my
That's
God.
something that was happening in threads everywhere. It is something that is unique to women. It is something that happens to women when they're visible, and I think that it's disgusting to see that it happens in our fandom too. Like nobody commented once in any time that I ever saw anything on Kirsch's physical appearance or Morrow's physical appearance or any of the male characters, Alex Lawther's physical appearance. Nobody talks about any of these people. But the second it's a woman, everybody's like, well, I don't personally find her as attractive as I would like to, or maybe she's too attractive that she's unattainable, and so I'm going to tear her down. It's like this constant fucking bullshit. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, I will say, I think that there's two sides of this coin where, and we experienced this in the after show, where if we praise something, we were on the dole, we were being paid by FX to say to say it, or if we didn't like something, we were just haters. There was no room for nuance here. And I see, like, in our chat, like, there's this, oh, I loved it. What's wrong with you guys? This was a great show. Blah, 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 blah. I can't hear anything else. This was a great show. Or I don't like it. I hate it. It's awful. And those two kinds of opinions exclude conversation. You can't have a conversation with someone who doesn't want to hear that something has had issues. Like, there are things about the show that I love. And I think the online world, the social media world, is this black and white space, even though it shouldn't be. And I think with as far as Perfect Organism is concerned, in terms of Reddit or Facebook, we have created a community where nuance can thrive, where we can talk about the gray. We can live in the gray, because all of us do. All of us love each of the films in varying amounts of ways. Some love Alien 3 more than others. Some like Aliens more than others. And we can talk about that. You know, there's things that I love about Covenant, other things I can't stand about it, but we can come to the table and talk about it. But I think if you talk in these exclusionary terms, like, this show is amazing, what's wrong with you guys, blah, 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 I don't want to hear it, I'm going to go watch it. Well, then we can't have a conversation with you. If all you want to hear is good news. And the same thing can be said for people who just hate it, or who are called haters, or who just say, this is awful, I don't want to, blah, 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 blah. I think it does a disservice to the people behind the show when you are unwilling to actually talk about what wasn't working for you or what was working for you. Because I think that there are some amazing things in the show that work really, really well for me. But I think we should be able to have a dialogue and not condemn people because they don't have your opinion. And again, I see that on both sides of the aisle, where if you don't share this opinion of, oh, it was wonderful and it was great, then there's and I'm just kind of sick of that. I'm sick. That's not a space that I live in. It's not a space that the show lives in or it wants to operate in. But I also know where we are in the world right now is pretty toxic time, probably the most toxic I've ever experienced in my life, in terms of the social climate and what's happening, what's being discussed politically, economically, all of those things. And I think the pressure of those things is just filtering right into online discourse. And people are, I mean, in another sphere, Shoulder of Orion, our other show, has been banned. Like, people can't even post in a Blade Runner new group because we are pro Hunter Schafer being cast and Michelle Yeoh being cast as the lead of Blade Runner. People do not want to hear it. They think it's so woke. They think it's so this and that they want to shut down conversation. And I'm just so tired of people shutting down conversation. And if you're going to do that on either side, I'm just not interested in it.
Agreed. We should move on to Romulus talk. But before we do, I want to give a special shout out to Paul, OW8GR, who's a really big fan of the show and is, I think, the first time in the chat. So thank you for joining, Paul. We love having you here. And this chat has been amazing. I've unfortunately not been logged in, but our very dear friend Eric Poopvane Stevens has been sending me screenshots to read occasionally. And I just now popped into the live chat and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of great conversation going on there. It's so cool to see. So yeah, we love you guys. Thank you for joining. And maybe this time is actually better for people than I anticipated, because that's a really good turnout. Should we talk Romulus 2 a little bit before we wrap?
Let's do it.
Paul, we got you.
Yeah. So
hey, Paul.
Yo, Paulie. So yeah, so lots of stuff to talk about. Brian Duffield being the kind of current so there's that side of things. Then there is the news, quote unquote, from World of Real that it's not happening at all and that it's been shut down. And then there's Steve Aspel, who's the VP at Disney, coming back and saying that was erroneous. And we really don't know. What I do know is that Brian Duffield's film Whalefall is about to come out, and supposedly there's a lot of buzz around it. I also know that he is slated to direct the Siren Head movie for
no way.
I don't know what studio it is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Our boys are upset. Siren Head is a Trevor Henderson like creepypasta character who's a huge among the Gen Alpha, crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exciting. But that is another movie, but that's a movie that he's directing, soon. So one would imagine that if he is actually involved with Romulus 2, we're gonna have to wait a little while. He's also doing something for Leica too. So I think
Ooh.
yeah, this might be a bit of a wait if he's attached to it, or if it's happening, or if
What
who
is
knows.
happening?
I
It's
love
interesting.
the idea of Brian Duffield directing an alien movie. I loved No One Will Save You. That movie nailed the sort of cabin fever, claustrophobia vibes that you kind of want from an alien film versus an aliens film. Um, so I'm really excited about the prospect of that. I thought he just did so good with that. I can't remember off the top of my head who the composer was for that film as well, but I think he would do a great job, sort of following along with Brian Duffield in the same way that Jeff Russo came along with Noah Hawley. I think that would be an excellent team up. Uh, I've loved everything that I've seen from Brian Duffield, and that's an exciting prospect for me because that's sort of what I'm looking forward to in terms of mainline alien movies is that claustrophobic, oppressive, sort of singular narrative feel that you get from Alien. There's I mean, I guess towards the end of it, there's one person you're following, there's one camera you're following. It's really personal, it's really claustrophobic, it's really scary, and I just think he would do a great job at that. So that's something I'm excited about. If that happens, that'd be great.
It's Joseph Trapanese was the composer, who did an
I
interesting
think
amount
it's
of stuff.
Trapanetia. I'm kidding.
Trepanation. He did he co-composed Tron Legacy with Daft Punk, which is pretty sick.
Oh,
Sick.
yeah, there you go.
He
That's
did the
good.
Divergent series, which I don't know anything about, but was a big deal.
That was a great series, honestly. I enjoyed it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen the movies.
I mean,
but
they're
I've
not
heard
like
the
masterpieces.
soundtrack.
I know you're walking it back. You said it was a great series.
Oh.
You have a
No,
Divergent.
I said it was
you have a
great. I'm
tramp
not- so
stamp.
not a
that's
masterpiece. It's not a
Divergent.
You have
masterpiece.
another whole podcast about the Divergent.
You got a tramp stamp.
Mm.
It's just the font for the title.
Oh gosh.
No, I think it's exciting. Brian Duffield's my age, which is kind of cool. That'd be fun to like.
He's
see.
old as fuck.
He's old
Yeah.
as fuck.
Old.
He's a 1985 baby. That's pretty cool.
Ew.
Oh my God. Why is that ill?
Old as
Almost
fuck.
You know why.
I think, well, number one, so there's a lot of rumors flying around. First of all, we shared a link from World of Real stating what was happening. They have been pretty reliable as an outlet. It's just point of fact. Are they always right on? Probably not. And we're seeing that. Do I think they were onto something with that story? For sure I do. And I think what happened was they posted that story and it pushed 20th Century's hand a little bit. Like it kind of, they're like they had to say something. I mean, they didn't have to, but they said something. So something was
Good.
going on there because there was other rumors flying about, like other directors and even other writers rumored. Steve Asbell doesn't say anything, but for this story, he felt like he had to say something, which I think is a little bit telling. And it's also a little bit sad to me that this IP feels a little cursed, honestly. That the next Alien film, I just really want a good movie. I don't want a piecemeal movie. I don't want to like, oh, this was great, that was great. I've said this many times on the show, and I want a movie where from beginning to end, I'm like, fuck yes, I'm here, I'm with it. That's what I want, and hopefully. I think Duffield also wrote Underwater with Kristen Stewart, which I think I think it was a pretty good film, to be honest with you. I think it
Great
kind of
movie.
lost it at the end. And there's some Weyland-Yutani Easter eggs in there. So the fact that if he is writing a film, an alien film, I think it's in good hands. I think writing an alien film is an art form, and I think it's a very hard thing to do. Which is why we get recently movies that are set pieces and caricatures as opposed to characters. But I guess we'll see. Who knows how far off it is? I mean, we have probably maybe Alien Isolation 2 coming out this Christmas, maybe, possibly. I don't know. It looks like
It
it.
looks like it.
And then we have season 2 of Alien Earth next year. So we're eating well still. So they have time for the movie. I would bet whatever they're going with, the script is probably about finished at this point. 2 years post Alien Romulus. That's what I would think. By the time these things get out, by the time these rumors make it out, these things are well into, I would say, production, or they're further on than we like. When you see casting notices, Peter Dinklage just didn't join Alien Earth. He was cast probably 6 months ago. We're just now hearing about it. They're shooting this show. They're like, oh, hey, call Peter Dinklage, just cast him. That was worked out. I mean, costumes, all that stuff, that was worked out 6 months ago. So hopefully with Alien Romulus 2, things are rolling. I guess we'll see.
The last thing I'll say about it quick is, it's worth looking at exactly what happened, right? So the World of Real rumor thing was saying that they're shelving Romulus 2 and the continuity with Rain and Andy, and that they're going to be starting a brand new thing. And that World of Real, I think, was also talking about Brian Duffield being in the role for it, right? That Brian Duffield was now going to be writing a whole new story with new characters. And that
I
was
don't,
the thing. That
was
was, yeah,
that,
the World of Real,
okay. I can't remember
rumor
fully.
thing. Yeah. I mean, somebody in the chat can call me out if it's not, but that's what I remember reading. But then Steve Asbell said no to that, which means that one would assume that they are continuing with Rain and Andy's story. We also know from having spoken with Fede once upon a time, hopefully once again upon a time, if he ever comes back, it'd be great, that the script was done, that him and Gato finished the not only the story, the script for it, I believe. And that was, of course, a direct continuation of Rain and Andy. But then Fede left. So then it really,
Hmm.
one has to wonder, like, what's going to happen with that script. And something else that's come up quite a lot, just briefly, is, David Johnson is now the new Black Panther, which is a huge deal. It's an MCU
Oh
role,
my gosh, thank goodness.
right? And so who knows what effect that's going to have, on all of this. And I just want to say, lastly, I feel vindicated because Micah and Jamie know this. When we saw him at San Diego Comic-Con, Jamie and I and Christian, I was like, that kid, like 2, 3 years from now, is going to be an A-list star. I was like,
Hmm.
no question. I just seeing him in person, listening to him talk, I was like, that is a movie star, and it's just a matter of time. And that matter of time happened because now he's in the MCU, and that is extremely exciting. And of course, this talent in Romulus speaks for itself. So that's a huge deal, and we're going to see what effect it has on everything. Sorry, Jamie, what were you going to say?
No, I think we should add that there's been a little bit of, in the rumor mill, supposedly, and I've actually heard this from someone close to Fede, that Fede's script for Romulus 2 included David, and it was going to be a wrap up of the prequels, and that Ridley Scott did not want to let Fede use David,
That's
and
annoying.
so Fede bolted. And that sounds pretty legitimate. Will we ever hear that officially? Probably not for 30 years. I mean, probably not for a long, long, long time, because the nature of the industry is for no one to talk bad, because everyone wants to work. And if you say something negative about, especially someone like Ridley Scott, who's nearing 90, I mean, still, he's a big name. It doesn't matter if his films are successful or not. He's a powerhouse. He is a
Dog Stars
juggernaut.
is like a huge release that's about to come out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Biggest stars
no
in the
one wants to
world are in
make
this.
enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would imagine there's credence to that, and I also posit that Duffield's r- script is a rewrite of Fede's scripts. So
Yeah.
perhaps they're taking the characters and maybe elements of what Fede wrote and said, we need a new script that does not use David. Now, are we going to get a Ridley Scott prequel wrap up? Probably not. I honestly think the last thing Ridley Scott needs to do is to make another Alien film. I don't think he's interested. I think that ship has sailed. I don't necessarily know if he can, or he has what Alien needs, but who knows?
Hmm.
Well, this has been
Yeah,
great.
that was
Thank you, everybody.
that's what I was gonna say. But I think that's where the delay is coming from, is the need to rewrite David out of the script. And I think the fact that the two leads are now moving on to bigger and better things in their career, I think we're probably, if it does happen, it'll be an entirely separate story.
Yeah.
Or So
Quick shout outs in the chat. Amoeba Jelly is campaigning for Nia DaCosta to direct it. That would be fucking amazing.
She's
Yeah.
amazing.
She's
That would be pretty freaking
amazing
cool.
If
director.
anyone has seen, she's amazing.
Bone Temple, but also, of course, Candyman. Like really, really
So
talented
I didn't see
freaking
Bone
filmmaker.
good.
Temple. Candyman was fucking amazing.
Candyman was
Great
amazing.
movie. I feel like we've all forgotten about that, but that was such a good movie. That was so
The
fucking
score for that is amazing.
Yes.
Too.
I
Didn't we
love
do
that
a,
movie.
We did do an
We
episode
did.
on the
Yes,
score.
we did.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no,
yeah,
when
it was
Jamie and I
amazing.
did a Sublime Noise in the score for it too.
Yeah.
Didn't we also
I need
do
to-
a frame rate
I
on
think
it?
we did a frame rate
I
too.
think we
yeah.
did a frame
I
rate.
think
Yeah.
we did because it was so freaking good.
Yeah, Nia DaCosta would be awesome. And one last thing is Save 400 is asking Jamie to use his influence with Disney to what was it?
My
To get
influence with
to
Disney.
get Robert Eggers to direct
Robert
Yeah,
Eggers
he's
has
really-
stated that he has no
Literally don't.
interest in directing movies that are like futuristic or present. Like
Can you imagine
he's
that?
stuck in the past.
Well, what if hey, phalanx, aliens
It can
phalanx
happen.
right there. We could
That's
have
true.
like
That's
a
true.
historical setting. I mean, Werewolf in some ways is an alien story, right? It's a
Yeah,
story of body
yeah.
horror. It's a story of the
Yeah.
darkness. I mean,
If we could have someone with his sensibility, someone who knows how to create fear, how to manifest fear on film,
Yeah.
that's what Alien needs. And Alien also, in my opinion, my little humble opinion, Alien needs wonder, it needs exploration, it needs something new, not this rehash of what we've been seeing over and over and over. Alien Earth aside, because as many issues as I have with that show, it is very new and it does very different things, which I think is needed.
yeah. We should have the team that made Resident Evil 7 make the next alien film because I can't fucking
yes.
get over how scary that Mike and I are playing that right now.
It's really
the
difficult.
scariest thing
Oh, shit.
ever.
Oh,
Oh my god! All
You
right.
guys,
Anyway,
we like can't do it. It's so scary.
thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for this awesome
Yes,
chat.
thank you.
Yeah.
And like Poop Vein is pointing out in the chat, make sure you smash that bell so you can get notified when we go live. Sometimes it doesn't work. For me, I can't get notifications because it says that it's still set up as like a children's channel or something.
Ooh.
So we
I don't know why
There's
it
something up on the
isn't.
back end with that. I don't know.
I can't get notifications either on it.
Yeah,
I keep
what's up
trying
with
to
that?
do it, but I have no idea.
Weird.
And it's our own. I'm logged in as us, and I can't do it. So we will look into it. If you're having issues, let us know. But otherwise, if you are able to, and some people are, please hit it so that you can know when we're going live. And everybody. Oh, hang on,
Bye,
producer
and if-
shout out. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
What
And
are
if you
what
wanna
are you
make-
even
okay.
doing?
We have been gone for too long. Okay. And we have some new producers, so I want to make sure they get extra special ones. Okay, so producers going from the beginning, which I have to do the filters to make sure I have the producers selected. So give me a minute.
You got this. I believe in
Okay,
you.
here we go. Nathan Gribble, Darren Gold, Murray Kucherawi, Jonas Holmston, David Holmes, Dave Turner, Gene McDonald, Perry Chicos, Matt Bro, Carl McLean, Joseph Rosner, Bloodhut, Steve Patterson, G. Latore Yates, Zarnold Quigley, Ross Yost, Pop Cycle, Jeff DeLoff, Carl Hinks, Chris B., Jeremiah White, Andrew, Peter from Melbourne, Gary Smith, Angel Cruz, Weyland-Yutani, Distinguished Engineer, Lazy Pancreas, Sky Aaron, Jordan, Darren, Eric Poopvane Stevens, Ali Kara, Matt Thomas, Andrew Tracy, Larry Wood, and our brand new producer, Mr. Big Hippie himself.
Woo.
Thank you all. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
You guys are the best.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
And if you want to be a
Yeah.
producer, perfectorganism.com/support.
Yes,
First
don't forget,
Roblox.
we're about to do a frame rate on the Odyssey, and then we have one on Halo after that. So
Ooh,
game rate.
Game rate.
Exciting shit.
Yeah.
Talk soon, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Love you
Bye.
guys. Thank you all.
Best.
Mwah.